So in this video I am going to play Dota 2 game and provide you financial advice on how to become financially successful and get rich. So the first point I want to talk about is do not focus on money primarily when you are starting up. So at the very beginning we should focus on how we can help people with what we are good at, and we should check if there is demand for work. We should know the concepts of supply and demand, and we should essentially be a problem solver so at the beginning. So what we should do is we should chase or even create a problem that people have and then find solutions to those problems. So for let's talk about create problem. Everyone knows about iPhone, how iPhone does that. How iPhone does that is they first create a problem and then they give solution to their customers about the problem that they're having. Like there are many examples. One of the main example is that they made the battery non-removable, so users have to spend more money when repairing their phone. So that's just a create problem. You don't have to unethically do that. You can do ethical way in an ethical way as well. Like for example, suppose you live in an area where there is no transportation and people have difficulty to move here and there. So what you can do is you can find a means of transportation for people. So you're actually solving those problems, and you can, and then when you find out that this is actually workable, you can start cashing out on your expertise. So this is a very important thing. The best example of this I can give you is, for example, let's imagine if let's imagine someone knows that in a field there is a hidden gold underground. So obviously people would try their best to get that gold, but the problem is that the gold is very little and there are a lot of people. Like out of 100 people only one person can get that gold, but the thing is everyone wants it. So what you do, you won't go and start finding that gold. What you should be doing is selling people shovels. So what you're going to do is sell people shovels, and they're going to do the rest. You're going to make a huge profit just by selling shovels, and just let people do hard work. So that was the first point. Essentially what we should be doing is working smart instead of hard work. So there are a lot of work who give their lives to work hard. Working hard is the formula of the cavemen. So nowadays people work smart to earn more money. The second point I want to talk about is the mentality part. So before doing anything major in your life financially, your mentality should be set right. But let's talk about the mentality points which you should be having. So we already talked about work smart instead of hard. The second point which I like a lot, I got from Rich Dad Poor Dad, is a question opens a mind and a statement closes it. So this I like a lot and I've applied to my life. So the rich people forbid the words I can't afford it, or this person will buy this for me, because these statements close the mind and we are always dependent on others and stay helpless. We must always think how can I afford it or what is required to be financially independent, as this opens possibilities, excitement and dreams. Keeping the mind open is also an exercise for the brain as well. So that's what you should be aiming for, and you should, in your mind you should also be success conscious, not failure conscious, because our thought habits need to be converted from negative thoughts like this can never be happen or we can never become rich, and if we have them we should remove them to positive thoughts like this is doable, it's possible. uh, so in the brain, the thoughts which are more dominating and repetitive will triumph. So you should keep that in mind. So another point you should know about is thinking long term. In a lot of businesses and jobs, you never think short term, always think long term. So you should not quit early if you're not seeing any signs of success, but you should be aware that someone has done something good from the past records. If you know that if what you are doing is a proven solution, just stick to it. The best example I can give you is of a tree. Only when you nourish it and give it a good months or years, only then you will be able to get some fruit from it. And then another point I about is that you should have a vision or goal to aim for. So when you know what you are doing, then it's just a matter of how you do it. But if you do not know what you are doing, then you will continue trying out one business or the other job, another, uh, to the and keep going from one to another aimlessly and hopelessly. So you should know your goal and vision. And then also we should focus on one project and goal at a time, or goal at a time, because we are not mentally strong to strive for multiple goals at one time or multiple active jobs. So prioritizing our goals means that we have a purpose and desire and clarity towards that goal, and we get more motivation to perform. We should set a deadline date as well and divide our goals into sub goals, which will make the task less daunting. And then we will be more dedicated in completing our task. Once we master one of our goals, then we should move on to the next. So focus on one goal. And the next point is also to remember that the journey matters more than the end goal. That's very important as well. If you're doing something which you don't like, you're probably not going to um get to the end goal. So do what you like to do as well. Just find the business which you are good at doing and have passion for it. Don't think of that you will be happy once you attain your goal. Try to be happy while you are working towards it. And also the next thing I want to talk about is remove the fear of missing out. So don't give in to social pressures, who follow trends, who try to impress you, and who goes and buy a new thing and then you think that you should too. So that's very bad, especially in the beginning. Don't buy an iPhone just because your friend bought it. And next point is do hard things first and then easy things, because it is easier to watch porn or play video games which have only small term rewards instead of starting a business, thinking about it, or reading a book which have long term rewards. In other words, we should be busy most of the time doing positive activities involving wealth growth, maintaining healthy lifestyle, etc. Uh, what I do is, for example, in one day set a goal of doing hard work for 8 days, then treating myself for 1 hour. Sorry, I mean 8 hours, and then treating myself for 1 hour. And then this is pretty boring point, but we should keep, again I say, keep social media away, uh, and try to become boring again. Then suddenly when we are so bored, then even doing small positive things will feel good again, and our mind will become more imaginative. Keeping social media away will also help, because usually when we are bored, we immediately switch to our phone for news and entertainment. But if we do not use the phone, then our mind becomes active and think of various stuff on how to be productive. So that's a few key points you should know about mentality. Next point I want to talk about is about opportunities. So, especially at the beginning, we don't know how to make money, how to do stuff, and it's very hard to actually identify an opportunity. So, opportunity, you can think of it like, for example, a candy shop. But instead of going at the front door, an opportunity is like if you enter the candy shop from the back door. So when you open that back door, seemingly there is absolutely nothing there. So so that's in your brain, you're like, okay, this is a false alarm or anything. But actually, opportunity like this don't come along very often. So maybe if you keep doing and unlock your doors to the next door, to the next door, maybe you can come across to the door which leads to the main store. So we should keep that in mind about opportunity. uh, Explore as many opportunities as we want to, and don't let go of them, because opportunities don't come often, especially when we are starting. So but later down the road, when you have enough experience, it's okay to leave some opportunities and accept others. So at the very beginning, one of the things you can do uh, to grab the opportunity is give money in order to receive formula. So especially in a business, many times we slip an opportunity because we are reluctant to invest anything in it. Opportunities are created not just for us but for others as well when we invest, especially when the demand is high. For example, local people demand milk, but it's only achievable if I buy a cow and invest resources in it. And then it becomes a business. You see what I mean? So now that you know the basics of wealth, and you have the mentality on how to build wealth, next I want to talk about diversifying your income streams. So about income streams, we should aim for, the more we aim for the better, because usually a millionaire has an average of 7 income streams. Most people say that. So what we should do is not rely on one job only, one job or business, because when we have other sources of income, we can rest easy financially. Even if, for example, out of those 7 jobs we lose one or job, it's okay, because we've already have others. So we've talked about doing one project at a time, and then uh, so because we know that it's a long-term project, a long-term goal, and so we should keep building income streams one by one. So uh, what we should doing is keeping at least 2 active jobs or businesses, at most two. We don't have the mindset to do more than 2 jobs. Actually doing one is also great at the beginning, but later down the road, we can actually do 2 jobs at once, but definitely not 3 jobs, because we don't want to tire ourselves from doing too many active jobs. And then those and then as many as possible passive income streams. First of all, we should know the difference between active income stream and passive income stream. Active is what we are doing actively. Passive is it's money making, it's making money from the background. So as I said, uh, 2 active jobs at most, and as many as possible passive income streams. So passive income streams are mostly conversions of income active jobs to passive jobs. Like for example, a YouTube channel, when you work hard on it, and after some time it starts to generate revenue even without our presence. And also passive income can also be in the form of assets like real estate, investment return, gold, selling digital merch, generating revenue from ads, etc. So there are lots of ways to generate a passive income, but you have to first build as many as possible active income, then start to convert them too passive. The next point I want to talk about is cash. So we know the mentality part. Now let's assume that we've started to generate some income. So what we should be actually doing is remember this rule: pay yourself first, which is stash the cash. We call it stash the cash. So we should pay ourselves first and then pay anything else, which includes bills, obligation, luxuries. Um, so a general rule of thumb is saving and investing 10% of the monthly income. So you take the 10% out of whatever you receive and you just save it, and keep saving and investing that 10% continuously for at least 20 years. So what that will actually do is you will take it will force our mind to think, and we will take a wise and clever decision for our expenses, because when we know that we have only a little money to work with, and then we will do make a very good financial decisions, and you will be amazed to see that in the long run how much money you have saved. And next point is I talked about saving, but we should remember that money in a bank will always lose its value, especially because of inflation. So when we have got some money in the bank, it is preferable to invest a very safe value. So the safest investing option is index funds, mutual funds, and what we should be doing is keep saving and investing your money until it's big enough to buy an assets, and uh, so and avoid buying a liability. So next, which thing which I will be discussing about is asset and a liability. Asset is something which puts money in our pocket, and liability is something which removes money from our pocket. So to make sure that you have bought an asset instead of a liability is to check that if that asset after some time can start generating income or sell at a better price. Conversely, it's a liability if after some time it is unable to sell, keep losing its value, or keeps requiring more money to maintain, or sell at a lower price than the original. But sometimes buying a liability is a necessity. A liability such as a car, mobile phone, it's a necessity. So we at some point we have to buy it no matter what. So when buying a liability, first do not make an emotional decision like we've talked about following a trend or showing off. Don't do that. Think twice, and I even say think thrice before buying some liability. You should always question it: is it worth it in the long run? Next step is to buy a liability only if we have excess cash and will not hurt us financially in any way. Like we should know that, for example, if we are buying a car, uh, if we cannot buy the same car twice, it means that it's not a good value. You should buy something cheaper than that. So you should be able to, for example, in your head you should be able to buy the same thing twice, okay? And always we should have an emergency fund in saving, which can include, like everyone case is different, it should be minimum 3 or 4 months salary, some or something like that. And also I never buy something in installments unless it's interest free. I only buy necessary and affordable things, because we should always remember this statement: a penny saved is a penny earned. So even if you save some money and don't buy it, it's a very good decision in the long run. So the next point I want to talk about cash flow. We should always know about cash flow, and we should understand it pretty well. So we don't have to be super complex about it. What I do is I make a balance sheet, I take a time frame, preferably a month, and then what I do is I assess if my income is greater than my expenses for a month. So if you want to know where you are losing money, you can easily identify it from your budget sheet, because they're split into categories, like bills are separate, your subscription are separate, and so on. So for example, if your Netflix or any other subscription is causing you harm, just remove that from your balance sheet. Otherwise, if you don't make a balance sheet, you wouldn't know where you are losing money. So if you uh, keep following this advice, and each month make a balance sheet, you will easily identify your shortcomings and act against it. Now, I want to remind you guys to stay away from the naysayers who keep getting in your way and make your life miserable, especially uh, if someone is against your goal or is not helping you financially in any way, then he's not, uh, you should keep away, you should keep him away from you as much as possible. But obviously, if he's a smart guy, then you should definitely work with him, because at some point you're not going to do everything alone. So we should get help from people, or even pay people who are smarter than you, smarter than us, which we for a task which we are incapable of doing. Like uh, when, like for example, if we are faced against a wall, we can't just keep punching it. We have to find ways where we have to break or climb it, by taking help from other people. So for example, keep punching the wall is same as like insanity. So insanity is doing the same thing again and again and expecting a different result. So if one thing is not working, just take a break and assess what is not working, then make a new plan. And then if a new plan works, just stick to it. It's that easy. So as I said, people are very important. So we should be open to ideas we develop from hunches. And if you want to achieve the goal, we should follow those people who are successful in acquiring the riches. Like we should take past examples of, for example, in this field this person was successful, then I am going to apply the same formula to get rich as well. Usually the if you apply the same formula to those who were successful, then you will be successful as well. Your role models can give you the motivation and desire to make your dream a reality. Next I want to talk about is a business, not a job. So at a 9 to 5 job, it's very easy to just go and do your work and come back and just forget about everything, not worry about business or anything else. But in a business it's different. For some people job is better, for some people a business is better. So as I said in the beginning, that the first rule of business is that opportunities, as I said, don't come very much along. In a business you need money, you need to give money in order to receive. That's the basic rule of business. So there are certain rules which you need to follow in business. Number one is, you have to have money if you want to start a business. So if you don't have money, then just forget about it. Second point is, you need to understand the industry from top to bottom. So you must know how all departments function. For example, if you're hiring an employee and after some time he resigns, then you must be ready to take over his place, at least for a temporary period, so everything is working as usual. You don't want to want to get to that place where if something goes wrong, you don't know what to do. You always have to know what to do. So you have to understand what you are doing. The number 3 point is, if you don't have the stamina, especially at old age, then business is not for you. And also fourth point is, if you don't have time, then business is not for you, because it can become a 24/7 job. So that's also very important, to have time at your side. If you don't have the time, then it's very hard to maintain a business. And the last point about business is at the most difficult point, which is at the in business the most important specialized skill is the sales and marketing, and also understanding the market, because most of the time this is the only skill which keeps us away from success. Like I can give you an example. A best writing author, if he learns marketing, he can become a best selling author. So we can become we it doesn't matter if the amount of work or hard work we do or how good we do the work, unless we become best selling, it does not matter at all. So the skills of selling and marketing are very important, and they're actually difficult for most people, primarily due to their fear of rejection. So uh, that's okay for us humans, we have to get used to that. But if this fear of rejection keeps coming back to you, then you're failed in doing the business. So for a salesman, persistence is the key. Most sales are made when our customers keep saying no, but you keep persisting, and we keep the pressure, and eventually at the 10th try, or maybe the 20th try, or maybe the 100th try, eventually instead of saying no, they say yes. So that's how it works in business. So many people think about getting it a very daunting task, and it's all just work and nothing good. So as I said in the about mentality part, that you should enjoy the journey instead of the destination. So that's very important. I repeat it again, the journey should be more important as compared to the destination. So, and it's also important to lead a balanced life. Like yes, we should be strategic about wealth, and when we see that we are making extra cash, then if we don't treat ourselves, then you're doing very harm to yourself. Like even the studies have shown that every time you get a reward for an action done, you are more likely to repeat it again in the future. So that's very important to keep your mental life okay as well. And as I said, don't find unethical ways to make money. Always believe in karma. Be sincere while chasing wealth, even if it takes very long time. And you should make money through proper channels. And also, we should put aside 5% of our income to charity as well. That's very important for our health as well, and it's linked very much to the give money in order to receive money principle.